Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Supply Chain Management online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Onjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay. So, dear students, we were discussing about the managerial levers to help achieve coordination in the supply chain. Okay, and at the end of the managerial levers, we started learning about designing an environment in which relationship and trust can be built between the or among the stages of the supply chain. Okay, so let's go ahead with that part. Okay. Students, I hope we can see the PowerPoint slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So far, okay, we have learned about the lack of coordination and the bullwhip effect. Bullwhip effect explained in detail. Reasons that a bullwhip effect occurs and the effect of a lack of coordination. Okay, bullwhip effect, okay, results in lack of coordination in the supply chain. Okay, so when there is lack of coordination in the supply chain, how it affects the performance of supply chain, we have learned. Then obstacles to achieve coordination in a supply chain. Okay, so what prevents a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain? Those obstacles we have learned in detail. And then to overcome these obstacles and to achieve coordination in a supply chain, we discussed about the managerial levers that help achieve coordination for a company in a supply chain. Okay, so we have discussed the first four. So we were learning about the fifth managerial lever, building strategic partnerships and trust. Okay, the first four are operational levers. Okay, and the last one is behavioral lever. Okay, so this is what we learned. The first four: information sharing, operational improvements, changing of incentives, or stabilizing pricing are action oriented levers. And the fifth one is the relationship oriented levers. Okay, which is building strategic partnerships and trust in a supply chain, so that the different stages of the supply chain cooperate and coordinate with each other. They trust each other, share information with each other. So this way help each other in achieving coordination in a supply chain. So how to build that cooperation and trust within the supply chain? That is what we were learning. Okay. So in designing a relationship with cooperation and trust, okay, so we understood that there are two phases of this, okay, approach. So the one is the design phase, and the second one is management phase. So once the relationship and cooperation, trust is okay built into the relationship, cooperation is started. Okay, both starts cooperating with each other. Okay, then the next phase is about managing that relationship and trust. So first we are learning about the design phase. Okay, so the design phase of assessing the value of relationship and its contributions. So we have learned this part already. Okay, and we were learning this operation, identifying operational roles and decision rights for each party. Okay, so the manager or company must recognize the interdependence between the parties. Parties here means the stages of the supply chain. So we learned what are sequential interdependence and what is the reciprocal interdependence in previous class. Okay, and we also learned that reciprocal interdependence is more difficult but can result in more profits. Okay, so we learned the example of Procter and Gamble and Walmart. I explained in the previous class how Procter and Gamble and Walmart, okay, are reciprocally interdependent. There is a reciprocal interdependence exists between Procter and Gamble the supply manufacturer or vendor, and Walmart, the retailer. Okay, so we'll move on to study a small figure here, which enables us to understand the effects of interdependence on supply chain relationships. Okay, the effects of interdependence on supply chain relationships. To what extent the two stages are interdependent on each other. Okay, depending on that, okay, it will have certain amount of impact on the relationship between the two stages. Stages here, since from unit 1, chapter 1, I have been explaining you should not forget. Stages means suppliers of raw materials, manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and consumers. These are the stages of supply chain. And the companies are trying to achieve, okay, coordination between these stages, because each stage, okay, is an independent entity. Like supplier of raw material is a different company, manufacturer is a different company, distributor is a different third party, retailer is also a different third party. Okay, so it is required to achieve coordination between all these stages. So let us see the effects of interdependence. So to what extent these stages are dependent on each other and how that can affect the relationship. That is what we are going to study here. So it's a 2x2 grid, as you can see. So this side it is vertically organizations dependence. Okay, means the manufacturer, you can see. For example, Procter and Gamble. Okay. Then on x-axis, you will have interdependent partners dependence. Partner for a organization maybe supplier of raw materials, distributors, or retailers. So this first grid, okay, or this first cell, if you consider where the organization's dependence is high, okay, on the partners, on the partner, okay, the organizations, organizing, this is the cell, huh? So organization's dependence is high on partner, okay. So if I consider, okay, the example of, let us say, Walmart and its vendors. Vendors means suppliers of merchandise from whom Walmart purchases merchandise. Okay, so there are many small vendors, okay, who manufacture certain products like, let us say, television, and they have these vendors or organizations have only one customer, that is business to business marketing and B2B marketing. They have only one customer and their customer is Walmart. So now you try to understand it. Walmart in their policy, they clearly mention if the vendor is not able to maintain the prices under a certain limit specified by Walmart, so that Walmart should be able to sell the merchandise at a lower price, because Walmart's supply chain is efficient supply chain. So if the vendor is unable to control the prices, okay, and if the price of the product exceeds, Walmart may stop buying from that vendor. And imagine that vendor will have only one customer, that is Walmart. And when Walmart stops buying, okay, the company will be, okay, directly closed down unless they find another customer in very short span of time. And this has happened, and even Walmart has been criticized for this. Okay. So if I consider the vendor of television sets for Walmart, okay, in America, so the organization or vendor's dependence on the partner is very high because they have only one customer. Partner is relatively powerful. That is Walmart, the retailer is relatively powerful. Okay, he can make decision to stop purchasing from the vendor, which may result in closing of the plant. So I hope you understand. Then what will happen on the relationship? The vendor partner, that is Walmart in my example, okay, will dictate the terms for the organization or for the vendor. So I hope you understand. Okay, then yeah, better I will go to this cell now. Low level of interdependence. Okay, so organization Okay. Now, yeah, I will come to the opposite side, so it becomes easy to understand. Huh? Please pay attention. So first cell, organization's dependence is very high on partner. Partner is relatively powerful. The partner can dictate terms and conditions. Okay. So you remember the example of vendors or suppliers of Walmart and Walmart itself. Now let's move to the opposite grid diagonally. So here it is partners dependence is high. Okay. Partners dependence is high on the organization. Reason might be organization is a market leader. Okay. In a particular market. So its products are moving very fast. Okay. I hope you can understand. So in India, if you consider Hindustan Unilever Limited is the undisputed market leader in FMCG market in India. Okay, just to understand the size. Okay, so I had some information. Okay, so like Nestle is a distributor in Dharwad. Okay, so used to make a sales of around 3 to 5 crores in that range, or 5 to 6 crore. Okay, turnover in 1 year. Okay, so Nestle company, the distributor, used to make a turnover of 5 to 6 crores in a year by supplying to all the retailers in Dharwad. Okay, now I was surprised to see, okay, here from the same person. Okay, he said, just imagine how much HUL distributor might be selling. Okay, I said some figure. He said HUL distributor sales per month itself is about 4 to 5 crore per month. Can you imagine now the size of Hindustan Unilever Limited? So if anybody is applying for a distributionship of Hindustan Unilever Limited, okay, it is obvious, okay, that the partner's dependence, the distributor's dependence will be very high on the organization, because the organization Hindustan Unilever Limited is a market leader, right? It's a market leader, and Hindustan Unilever Limited will dictate terms, okay, for land, building, vehicles, number of employees, computer, softwares, okay. So all, okay, what you need to have to become a distributor, the deposit which you need to keep, safety deposit, margins, what you are going to earn, most of these things will be dictated by Hindustan Unilever Limited, because distributor who is a partner, the partner's dependence is very high upon the organization. So organization is relatively powerful. They can dictate the terms. Okay, so students, are you able to understand this concept? Hello? Hello? Anybody who is listening?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please reply. Huh? Okay, so now we learned the two cells. Okay, first one, where the organization's dependence is high, the partner will be relatively powerful. The second cell, where the organization is relatively powerful, where the organization will be dictating the terms. Now we'll move on to this grid. Okay, so where if you can see the organization's dependence is low, as well as the partner's dependence is low. So the interdependence between the organization and the partner is very low level of interdependence on each other. Okay, so they do not dictate terms for each other. Hence, they will all not also bother about each other. So there cannot be effective relationship between the two stages, organization and the partner. Partner may be anybody. Okay, partner may be anybody. Okay, so among the many materials, raw materials that are purchased by an organization. Okay, so if you can recall, okay, there is A category, B category, and C category material. The inventory is classified into 3 categories. A category materials are high value, okay, materials. B category materials are moderately expensive, and C category materials are, okay, the most economical or lowest cost materials, and these materials can be obtained from any other supplier, and the supplier can also sell it to many companies across industries. So in such a case, the dependence between supplier of such a raw material and the organization will be very low. Okay, the dependence will be very low. Okay, say for example, the supplier who is supplying cleaning agents to a factory. Cleaning agents means, okay, it is including, okay, the bathroom cleaners, toilet cleaners, floor cleaners, okay, and if there is any material which is required to clean the furniture, machines, and so on. Okay, so they are not very important products for the organization. Okay, and the supplier also will be selling these products to many many factories across industries. So even if the organization stops purchasing, they will find another supplier very easily. Okay, and the supplier will also not bother if one or two factories stop purchasing from them. Okay, so in such a case, the level of interdependence will be very low. So effective relationship cannot be developed here. Now the diagonally opposite cell, if I see, okay, so organization's dependence on the partner is very high, as well as partners' dependence on the organization is also very high. So there is high level of interdependence between the organization and the partner. Okay, so in such a situation, the effective relationship can be built. A relationship of trust and cooperation can be built in such a case. So companies need to study the type of interdependence that exists between them and their partners in order to understand, can they build a effective relationship between them. The effective relationship is built to secure cooperation and coordination, cooperation from the partners, and achieve coordination in the supply chain. Okay, so many examples I have been giving. Okay, there was no class without examples, detailed examples, not company names just. So can anyone tell me an example, okay, between one organization, one partner, or whatever you call it, or between two organizations where there is effective relationship, where both are powerful, organization as well as partner, both are powerful, and they both depend on each other, okay, to a higher extent, to a greater extent. So organization dependence on the partner is also very high, as well as the partner's dependence on the organization is also very high. Yes, it's like a perfect match for marriage. Those who, okay, most of you will get married next 2 to 3 years. Okay, so this is like, this should be the situation. So this is a perfect match, okay, for an effective relationship. Can you give anybody can give an example? There are plenty of examples which I have given in my class.
Bisleri, sir.
Sorry?
Bisleri, sir, mineral water.
No. See, don't give one company name. Organization. What is Bisleri now? Is it a partner or an organization? And who is the other stage with whom you are talking? The level of interdependence is very high. That way you have to explain. Just now I gave the example. No? For a partner, Walmart is relatively powerful than their suppliers. Organization, Hindustan Unilever Limited is very powerful than their distributors. That way. Yes, make one more attempt, Sharon. And others also, please try to answer. I have given the example just in previous class. That is the ideal example. And there are many more also. Yes. Sorry? Yes?
Sir, organizational wise, relatively powerful can be Dell, sir.
Okay, then?
And
yeah, you are close.
so partner.
Tell me.
Sir, partner wise, relatively can be this Varun Beverages in Dharwad, sir.
Dell and Varun Beverage. What is the comparison you are talking?
No, sir. Sorry, sir. Not like partner wise, then customers, sir. Because as we know, no, sir, Dell was supplying like this personalized laptops.
Okay. Yeah, any you are, I thought you got that exactly. Okay, but your way of thinking was different. Anyway, any other student who would like to attend?
Sir, how would be
Say,
Gillette?
see, don't tell me one company. Who is their partner with who is where the partner is also powerful and the organization is also powerful. Now, Gillette is not a company; it is a brand. Huh? Brand of Procter and Gamble. Okay.
Sir, Hero and
Ah.
Harley.
Sorry.
Hero and Harley Davidson.
No. See that situation is quite different. Hero is just a contract manufacturer for Harley. Okay. And Hero's sales does not depend much on Harley sales, because why Harley quit India, you can remember, right? Because there are no enough sales to sustain their fixed costs. So we don't know. Maybe just for namesake, Harley wants to maintain a presence, and Hero Motors are manufacturing Harley Davidson plants on behalf of Harley. Because Harley, if they export the motorcycles directly from America, okay, completed finished goods automobile, okay, will attract more taxes or more duties we call them, more custom duties. Okay, so they will only send the spare parts on the spare parts, the customs duty is lower. Okay, or import duty is lower on spare parts, and they are assembled in Hero Motor assembly plant. So you can say, okay, the level of, but at least there is no low level of interdependence between Hero and Harley, Nandan. We can say that. But there are better perfect examples which I have given in class. Okay, so the one best example what I can give is a Dell and Intel. Remember, Dell is the organization that makes finished goods and sells it to the end user in the market. And their partner is Intel. Intel is a supplier to Dell. And Intel sells microprocessors. Okay. Now think about the relationship between Dell and Intel. Okay. Okay, there are not many microprocessor makers in the world. First thing that you should know. Hardly there are few companies which you can count on fingertips. And Intel is the undisputed market leader in a microprocessor, okay, for laptops, desktops, servers, and other types of computers. Remember. Now imagine Dell company without Intel. What will happen? Okay, Dell cannot make its product, which is a personal computer. Now think about Intel without a Dell. Now how many PC makers are there in world? Okay, they are also very few, right? So if, and Dell is one among the top 3 largest PC makers in the world. So if they lose Dell, mostly 1/3 of their sales will go down, approximately, or 25% of their sales will go down. So the dependence of Intel on Dell is also very high, and the dependence of Intel on Dell is also very high. So they both are highly dependent on each other. Okay, that is where an effective relationship can be built. Now, what is the evidence? You can ask me, no, sir, how you say that there is effective relationship between Dell and Intel? That also I have answered throughout the syllabus. Who can tell how we can say that there is effective relationship between Dell and Intel? There is an environment of mutual trust and cooperation in the supply chain of Dell, between Dell and Intel. Yes. How you say that? That also you don't remember. That also I told in the previous class. Yes. Oh my God. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. See, every class I kept saying Dell, okay, Dell's supply chain is a responsive supply chain. Okay, so they share Dell, okay, mostly manufacturers pull strategy, okay, they use. They start assembling a computer on receipt of the order in case of customized computers. Remember that. Okay, as well as, okay, they sell some standardized computers also in the market. So this demand data, okay, how many orders they have received for different models of computers that are customized, and how many standard personal computers they are selling on a day-to-day basis. This is actual demand data, okay, POS data we can call it, point of sale data, they share with Intel, okay. And not only demand data, they also share, okay, they buy different types of microprocessors, okay, from Intel company, which become brain of the personal computers in Dell. So there are different like i3, i5, i7, and there are many more types of microprocessors from Intel. So Dell also shares the inventory information of each type of microprocessor of Intel with Intel. So Intel can actually see through their okay, extranets. So what is the demand, okay, for different models of personal computers, okay, at Dell, and what is the inventory level of different types of microprocessors in the Dell. So accordingly, it estimates or it develops a forecasting figures. So by when Dell may order, okay, so what will be the approximate order size, and for which type of microprocessors Dell might be ordering. Accordingly, they inform their suppliers, okay. They also require certain components to manufacture microprocessors. They inform their suppliers, okay. Their suppliers also prepare or plan to deliver the required components to Intel, and Intel also plans their production schedule accordingly. And by the time Dell places an order with Intel, Intel will be absolutely ready to deliver the order of Dell. So the supply chain is highly responsive, means Intel doesn't take much time to deliver the order of Dell company. And the mode of transportation now used is air mode of transportation. So in very less time, Intel will be able to supply the orders of Dell and helps Dell maintain a responsiveness of its supply chain. Okay, so this is how it proves that there is effective relationship between Dell and Intel, because the interdependence of Dell, okay, interdependence between Dell and Intel is very high, and that is the perfect situation where companies can develop effective relationship. So Dell and Intel both are able to secure cooperation and coordination from each other, by that way making their own supply chains, okay, perform better or perform high. Okay, so any questions here?
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as you told, no, sir, Dell and Intel, then can this Boeing company, sir, which manufactures planes,
Okay.
and Lufthansa, which is a flight company, sir.
Yeah, it can be, definitely it can
So,
be. Airlines companies
those
and
both can be,
aircraft
sir.
manufacturers.
Yes, sir. Those can be effective relationship, sir.
Okay, say
Those two.
customer comes at the end of the supply chain, right? What is supply chain? Supply chain is all the efforts put directly or indirectly in fulfilling a customer order. So we are talking about the coordination between supplier of components or raw materials, organization or manufacturer, intermediaries, if any, like wholesaler or retailer. Okay. So Boeing's
Yes, sir.
job is to fulfill the order from Lufthansa Airlines or Indian Airlines, for example. Okay. And Geeta has answered. Geeta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
See, Dell and HP are competitors for each other. Can you expect effective relationship between them? They are rivals. Partner means stages of supply chain, supplier of raw materials, suppliers, okay, manufacturer, distributor, retailer. Between them we are talking, interdependence between them. Okay, Geeta?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, and for you also, remember this, I'll never forget. Okay, you can maintain this picture in your mobile phone always. And when you are ready to marry, find out this. Okay, your married life can be happy only if, okay, It's not only about compatibility, huh? Remember. Okay, if you genuinely want to marry and lead a social life, okay, and your partner is also genuinely want to marry and lead a social life. It's all about that. Life is not like a movie you see, huh? Especially Indian movies. Okay, so only in that case there can be a happy married life, which is called an effective relationship. It's nothing about love, okay? It's nothing about rich, poor. ನಾವು ಮದುವೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿವ್ರಿ ಹಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿವ್ರಿ. It doesn't matter least. Remember this. Okay, so are you genuinely planning to marry and lead a social life? Okay, why we marry? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, remember. Okay, basic needs, then security needs, then social needs. So we marry to socialize. Okay, remember. Because we cannot go on living alone throughout our lifetime. We'll become like, okay, a joker. Okay. So then next part is about creating effective contracts. Okay, so I hope we can recall these stages. Okay, so we are learning the design phase of designing relationship and cooperation and trust in the supply chain. So we completed understanding the two phases, assessing the value of the relationship and its contributions, identifying operational roles and decision rights for each party. Just now we completed. Now I'll move on to the third phase of designing the relationship, creating effective contracts. Okay. Okay, you who believe it or not, okay, so if you intelligently apply these concepts into your life, okay, try to understand, your life will be very fun filled, lively and happy. Okay, but you cannot simply go ahead speaking like this. You cannot write a love letter like application letter. I hope you understand the difference. You should know the basic concepts. Your basics should be very strong, and just think in the context of personal life, how you can apply these things. It always works. Always, I'll say most of the times it works, provided you are right in what you are doing. So now I'll move on to the third phase of designing relationships, creating effective contracts. Create contracts that encourage negotiation when unplanned contingencies arise. Okay, say there is an organization and they see all of a sudden increase in demand. Okay, and whatever quantity you agree to purchase, okay, so whatever quantity you wanted to purchase from the supplier of raw materials, okay, you place additional order and the supplier will learn that you are placing additional order. So that if the product is short in supply in the market, the supplier will charge a higher price. Okay, this can be an unplanned contingency. Okay, but that will lead to increase in cost of manufacturing for the organization. Okay, so for such unplanned contingencies, create contracts that encourage negotiation. Okay, so the supplier should not increase raw material prices unreasonably. So there should be space for negotiation. Okay, the organization and the supplier can sit together and negotiate, okay, and decide on a right course of action. Okay, so same way as I have been mentioning, okay, in your married life, if something happens, you should have a fair idea well in advance how you should be handling that problem or situation. What happens more 99% of the times, people are not ready to face the crisis or situations or problems in their life. Okay, and they break down very easily. Remember this. It is impossible to define and plan for every possible occurrence. So closely related to personal life as well as supply chain management. That is why I said MBA program is one PG program which is quite different, way different from any other, okay, educational degree. Okay, but only provided if you are serious and passionately you learn the subject, read a lot, discuss a lot, interact a lot, okay, with your classmates, with your teachers, then okay, this could do miracle. That is what I have experienced in my life, okay, after doing MBA. Then good relationships that allow trust can fill in the gaps in contracts. So try to understand. Okay, so if it is between Dell and Intel also, let us consider if there are any problems, but since the relationship between Dell and Intel is very good, Okay, that allows trust to fill the gaps in the contracts. So if there might be some problem, okay, which arises, okay, but since Dell and Intel trust each other, that is why they share, okay, that confidential information with each other. Okay, so even if there is any problem, again they will sit together and diplomatically resolve it because they trust each other. So when Dell and Intel trust each other, they do understand that Dell intentionally might have not done anything wrong. And Dell will also understand that if something is wrong from Intel might have not done intentionally something wrong. That is because of the trust, okay, they have developed in their supply chain. Okay, so this is what we are talking about. Now think about same between the couples. Okay, if there is a trust between the couples and if there are any issues, okay, they won't think in that narrow-minded way because they trust each other. If something has happened, okay, maybe something might have, it might be an environmental situation, okay, not intentionally done by the other partner. So that okay, if there is any gap, okay, if there is any situation, that will be filled by the trust that has developed between the two partners. Now this is what is a life lesson. Okay, can you believe, given in supply chain management class? Okay, remember this, never forget, never forget. Okay, so now I had an example for this good relation. Yeah, I remember I used to work for my first teaching assignment was ICFA National College, Goa. Okay, so it was like a corporate way they used to manage. There were hierarchies, there were regions, zones, head office. Okay, so they had about in the first year 2004 about 47 MBA colleges all over India, and in second year they added another 100 MBA colleges. So they used to manage 147 MBA colleges across India. Okay, remember now what happened in 2004. Okay, the law in India permitted, okay, to have affiliated colleges. A university could have affiliated colleges outside its jurisdiction area. Jurisdiction means, I hope you understand. Huh? Now, for example, okay, Karnataka University, Dharwad. So it has affiliated colleges in some 4 to 6 districts. Okay, Belgaum doesn't come under jurisdiction of Karnataka University, Dharwad. Okay, for Belgaum, it is Rani Channamma University. Okay, so I'll stop here and please join back. Okay, the class immediately. Do not waste time. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.